find a way.
Let me flip this question and talk about Palestinian society and Palestinian history for a moment. I mean, you're one in a series of negotiators that you stretch back to Ralph Bunche, you stretch back even to the Peel Commission. So let me start with the Peel Commission. If you're a centrist Israeli, not an ideological right-wing Israeli, you look at the history of the last 70 or 80 years and you see in 1936 or so the British Peel Commission suggesting partition. Partition that would have been about 80% Arab, 20% Jewish or so. Arabs immediately reject. 1947, the UN supports partition. Arabs would get about 60% of the land, Jews would get 40, Arabs reject, Jews accept, Arabs attack, then they proceed to lose, and then everything that flows from that loss we know today. From 1948 to 1967, the Arabs occupied the West Bank and Gaza. They were occupied by Jordan and Egypt, respectively. Those countries did not create a Palestinian state. Another opportunity. After the end of the '67 war, the Arabs met in Khartoum and said, we're not going to negotiate with Israel, we're not going to recognize Israel to get back this territory. 2000 comes along, Bill Clinton at Camp David makes what seems to be a fairly substantial offer, and Yasser Arafat, maybe presaging Abu Mazen, walks out without making a counteroffer to the Israeli offer. 2008, once again, an Israeli Prime Minister, Ehud Olmert, offers what seems to be about 100% in land or land equivalent through land swaps of this. So you're an Israeli and you look at this history and you see, you could probably identify 5 or more fairly serious opportunities for the Palestinians who have grabbed hold of a state, and they haven't grabbed hold of it. Why would you believe now that the Palestinians are willing to accept a state in 20 or 22% of historic Palestine?
Well,
in other words, if Palestinians look at the Israelis and see Netanyahu as the most left-wing member of his government, you can understand why they have some doubts. If you're Israeli, you can look at the Palestinian history of missing all of these chances to get a state and say, you know what, maybe they don't want a state, maybe they just want our state.
Yeah, it's a pretty good potted history.
Thank you very much.
The Goldberg Twitter.
That was much longer than a tweet.
Was, yeah. 5 tweets.
Wait, is the history wrong?
No.
Oh, okay. So
I
don't
was
insult
complimenting
it.
you.
Don't
relax.
No, I'm very relaxed. I was out with Hickenlooper last night, eating some special brownies. We're cool. That's not true, by the way. Anybody in the news? That's not true. Not to get the governor of the state in trouble.